Alright, so I've just arrived home, and as promised, this is part two on my little YouTube thing about recovery. Alright, and I said I was going to go into a little bit more. I'm not going to go too technical because there's a lot more than I really want to cover. I just want to go into the basics so that you can kind of see what's happening, where it's happening, what can be fixed, and how to go about it. So, that being said, we're going to talk a little about training first. So when we're training, we're putting the body and the central nervous system under stress, okay? I'm not talking about, oh my god, or maybe a little bit. The nervous system can get like that, but we'll go on to that in a minute. So as it gets put under stress, there's two things working. The nervous system enacts the body to move, okay? So you get signals from the brain. We all know this basic. Signals from the brain goes to the nerves goes through the nervous system, tells me to move my hands, talk with my hands, whatever it is. Most of the time we do it unconsciously. Now, as we start training, as we go, we get endorphin rushes and everything else, which is all cool. We love that feeling of job well done. However, then we're going to go through our daily routine. Now, some people may be more active, some people may be a little bit more sedentary, some people may sit in an office all day. People like me, I go out on a patrol for around about 45 minutes to an hour a day, so I'm walking around, standing on my feet. Depends on what you're doing. I wouldn't say I live a super active lifestyle, but I live a pretty active lifestyle, okay? So, as you're going through this, the body gets put under stress, you're training, you're pushing yourself, you're going forwards, you're trying to achieve goals, you're building muscle, dieting, all this kind of stuff is causing a lot of stress as well on the body, and we get serotonin build-up, okay? Now, in basic, it's to prolonged exercise, and I'm going to be using a few notes here, so you'll have to excuse me, because I don't want to lose my thread, I don't want to lose my way, I just really want to get the information over. So, it's through prolonged exercise, through prolonged activity, and what happens is we get lethargic, we have a reduced motor drive, and you tend to start stumbling, can't think through things properly. Have you ever noticed when you're tired you can't think, you can't feel straight, or when you're physically exhausted you might stumble around a bit, depending. All those things kind of build up, and the more we put the nervous system under stress, the more this is going to build up. Okay, this is why sometimes when you're training, you've been training for 3 months, and they say, well, why the hell can't I lift this? Because I was lifting it around about whatever it was some time ago. I can't do now. Okay, so how do we combat this? Well, first of all, it's making sure that our central nervous system is looked after, okay? The central nervous system is going to act first before your muscles, and it's going to be the last to recover. So we're going to talk about a few things. So a few things on promoting recovery for the nervous system. And as I said before, when we talk about rest, we're not talking about, kind of lying sort of like, for like a week or anything. So then I wouldn't recommend that. You'll lose everything. But to keep active, play a sport, relax, have fun, keep a positive mental attitude and outlook, okay? It's really important. Why is it that you see some people in the gym, they're buzzing, they're like, wow, yeah, really good. And then you see some people sitting on the bench, and yeah, some people might have trained really hard. I know after I've trained really hard, I'm kind of like, I'm sort of the bench. I was like, just give me a few minutes, and then I'm up and about like, that's really good. I've got, that's the endorphins kicking in as well. Believe me, when I'm at work, sometimes I have had to go and stand by the window, wake myself up because I found myself dozing a little, okay, which is a good sign that I needed to take a few days away from the gym and relax. It was just by happenstance that I had problems with the car, but I was starting to fall asleep in the chair. I had to get up, walk around, take a couple of my protein and vitamin C tablets to keep myself going. But a good positive mental attitude, keeping yourself positive, learning to tune your thoughts to good positive thoughts. Okay, I'm not talking about happy nice thoughts. I'm talking about really contemplating on the things that you really have achieved. You know, I know people get, oh, well, lost £2 in the last 4 weeks. Well, hey, actually, £2, if you stayed off, that's great. That's progress in the fact that you are maintaining, keeping that off. So keep that positive drive going. Keep that first and foremost in your mind. Some of the strongest people actually have, I mean, look at Kai Green, look at all the, oh man, there's so many that you watch and you look at it, you think, wow, you know, that's great. C.T. Fletcher, Jeff Cavalier Fastly Next, look at even Frank Zane himself, who actually talked a lot about this, had a fantastic mental positive outlook. Okay, so the second one, promoting a good sleep. Okay, I am training myself at the moment to operate on 6 hours sleep. No, it isn't just the amount of time. Let's get this. I'm talking about when you go to sleep. I'm talking about switching everything off, lying back, relaxing. Don't read, don't do anything else. Lie back, relax, let your mind sink, forget about the day. It's done and dusted, and let yourself sink into sleep and try to focus on the quality of sleep. Just let everything go. Okay, now I know sometimes it's easier said than done because we've got day-to-day life worries, everything else like that, but try, and this is what I've been doing, is I'm trying to focus on getting a good quality 6 hours sleep. So just basically getting to bed, just dropping everything, put your clothes away, everything like that. Now the other thing to it is, and I've noticed this, I'm really good at housekeeping downstairs, but in my room I'm not very good. Make sure where you sleep is ordered and organised. If you go to sleep in a cluttered place, everything's cluttered and stuff, you ain't going to get a good night's sleep. Now, I've really rearranged my furniture, and the Chinese have a fantastic thing about Feng Shui, and believe it or not, it works. Your surroundings really do have something to do with it. In fact, the Chinese medicine, I know people belittle it, but one of the things that the Chinese do, especially the doctors, they go into a person's house, they look around, see what state it is in. And I talked about this on another video. If it's too ordered, too precise, too every corner, everything, plastic sheets on the, you know, there's just too much order. There's no lived in. It needs to be lived in, not chaotic, but where you feel comfortable, but where your mind is ordered. You know, where everything is lived in, everything has a place, everything in its place, and a place for everything. Okay, I'm not just sort of thinking about, I mean, I get in the habit sometimes of just throw a couple of clothes on the floor and get into bed. Okay, but I'm getting to the habit of having everything in order. I get up, I make my bed. When I come home, I find a made bed. I'm not looking at it thinking, oh man, I've got to get into this. I'm like thinking, you know, actually, I feel comfortable getting into this. Okay, making everything you possibly can to ensure that you have the best sleep. Okay, if you've got a crappy mattress, save up, buy another. There's plenty of charity shops that have some fantastic mattresses. I'm going out and I'm going to buy another one after I come back from my holiday or vacation if you're in America. Performance naps. Okay, set aside a time when you're off work, you go to the gym, and I do that with my mum and dad. I go over and look after my mum and dad. I go to the gym, I train, I come back, I say, right mum, dad, before I start, I'm going to have a performance nap. I'm just going to lie back, I'm going to have a couple of hours, I'm just going to close my eyes, and I'm not exactly asleep, just letting my mind rest. Okay, performance nap. I've still got my mind on what I need to do, and then when I get up, ready to go. Okay, another one, get out in the sun, good fresh air. Honestly, Get out. If you've got a 15-minute walk, don't go out and go and fill yourself with cigarette smoke or vaping. Look, guys, honestly, get rid of the cigarettes, get rid of the vaping. You don't need that crap. All right? Get out in the fresh air. Take in what your body is made to do. All right? I promise you, take your socks and shoes off, walk through the wet grass, whatever it is, enjoy the feel of natural textures. Okay, all too often we're in trainers, shoes, whatever it is, socks, we'll cut ourselves off. Let yourself relax. Okay, enjoy the feel. If you're in a city or something, that's, you know, obviously, but if you can find a park, go walk in a park, lay down on the grass, look up, just let your mind wander. All right, it's all about creating that inner sense of relaxation. Okay, when you have the serotonin build up, you become anxious, low, depressed, irritable, aggressive, impulsive, decreased appetite, nausea, digestive issues, all these sorts of things. You crave sweets, you crave carbohydrates, and before anybody goes, oh well, I shouldn't eat carbohydrates, I'm going to come on to that in a minute. You want carbohydrate rich foods. Have you ever noticed when you've got a headache, you're thumping, you go and get something that's rich in carbohydrates and suddenly it disappears? You are in need of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are not the enemy, in fact it's fantastic. You really need carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are not the enemy. You don't need to cut them to lose body fat or anything else. You need carbohydrates to get your energy to combat this serotonin. Alright, that's what you need. So those are some of the symptoms. I've mentioned some of the things you can do to avoid those symptoms. Okay, we're going to go on. I'm going to talk about food intake. Alright, and the first one on my list, and I've actually been introducing a little bit more, is whole wheat bread with turkey and cheese. No, how can you say that? Look guys, come on, let's be honest with you. 2 slices of bread with a whole load of turkey and some cheese, enough to make it taste good, no butter or anything else like that. Enjoy it. You're going to have an endorphin release, you're going to have some good carbs in it, you've got to have turkey high full of protein, you've got cheese, which is another high protein based thing, you've got the good fats in cheese. Cheese has earned a horrible reputation. Look, let's be honest, anything can be bad for you if you have way too much of it, okay? If you eat too much of one thing, it's going to be bad for you. If you have it in the right amounts, it's not going to hurt you, all right? And you can, and I literally, I can prove it. I've been losing body fat. I've not been losing weight. I've been losing body fat, although weight has been a side effect of losing body fat. But I haven't lost anything. In fact, I benefit from it, okay? If you don't want the cheese, cottage cheese, put it with the turkey. A little bit of tomato ketchup, can't beat it. Honestly, try it. Okay, next one. Some people might be a bit more a fan of oatmeal with a handful of nuts. Alright? Simple. You get some oatmeal, a little bit of milk, whatever it is, whatever your poison is, or if you can even have it dry, I don't know, or even a little bit of Greek yogurt, get a handful of nuts, put it in there, a little bit of Manuka honey, boom, power food, brings you right back up. Alright, salmon with brown rice. Alright, you want about that much of, well, a handful of brown rice, okay? You don't need too much. Salmon is a fantastic. I've been reintroducing salmon into my diet now for the past few days, and believe me guys, my alertness has gone so much more. It's a power food, it's a brain food. You've got omega-6, omega-3. Get your salmon in. Alright, tuna's good, but salmon's a hell of a lot better. Alright, next one, and I'm just reading from the list. Plums and pineapple with your favourite crackers. Just a couple of favourite crackers, could be whatever it is, you know, the salted cheesy ones or whatever it is. just a small amount brings everything into balance. Of course, you've got to find out what your balance is, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but you've got to find out how much works for you. It's not going to hurt you. Okay, pretzel sticks with peanut butter. I haven't tried that one yet. I am going to try that. I'm not too keen on pretzel sticks, but peanut butter, hey, I have it with a banana. Trust me, that's a power food in itself. So I've already talked about 10 to 15 minutes walk outside of the sun. Okay, a few supplements that you can try, which I am going to try myself as well. Pure, so I've got to read this. I've got to read this. So pure tryptophan supplements and SAMe supplements, 5-HTP and St. John's wort. Okay, those are the supplements. I'm not going to go into it, but they're all supplements that will help enable to balance yourself, get rid of those feelings of lowness, anxiety, all those sort of things. And trust me, one of them is anxiety. I suffer with it, and also I do suffer with ADHD as well, guys. Real problem with it. I have to watch what I have, but it balances you, and that is the most important thing. Chemical balance. If you're not balanced, you're going to find things a lot harder. Finally, massage is one of the most rated forms. Humans have always benefited from touch. There's this weird stigma about, oh, don't touch me, my personal space and stuff like that. Look, let's get rid of this bullshit once and for all those people who are offended by touch, alright? Human touch, compassion, comfort. When you're feeling low and stuff, you like that, you start rubbing yourself. It goes back to the warrior days where warriors would rock backwards and forwards. They would do that to comfort themselves, calm themselves. That's why warriors would find the embrace of a woman after a battle and most of the time it was literally for them to hold them. There are accounts of soldiers weeping in women's arms, not even doing anything, just going to shall I say a house of ill repute, and there's plenty of times where soldiers wouldn't even do anything. They would just pay for a woman to hold them. There are countless times where men in the trenches would hold each other for comfort because they were terrified beyond belief. Okay, let's get rid of this no touch culture bullshit from those people who are just so insecure about themselves. Okay, massage is one of the most purest forms of touch that will help you overcome what you need to. Okay, I cannot recommend it enough. But you know, it relieves all sorts of things. Okay, I've talked about mood induction, everything else as well. Now, I'm going to come on finally, and it's been a bit of a long one, but I want to come on to something called the homeostasis. Okay, we've all heard of homeostasis. It's basically a balanced level of a person who is optimized, or the homeostasis is where you work at a level that is normal. Now, what we're going to remember is guys, is homeostasis is often used as a collective, okay, meaning that this is what this and this is this, and it comes from a very old medical experiment going way back when it was cutting edge. It's now very, very sort of archaic. We understand so much more, but what you're going to find is your homeostasis for yourself and what works, and balance it and move forwards. At the end of the day, what you want to be doing is you want to be getting to a point where you're feeling good, your mind is clear, you're going into things, you're finding that you're moving forwards, that you are becoming balanced with yourself, you're able to improve, you're able to think more, you've got more of a clarity of thought, you're not stumbling or anything else, and you are finally able to approach things and have a little bit more hope in your approach. So that's pretty much it for this video. I hope it helps. I hope what I've gone through here. There's plenty more that you can do your own research on. I've just given the basics. I've done this just to really help because I know an awful lot of people, including myself, who've got a lot of problems, and somehow we need to turn this round on the head, okay? And I'll tell you something, I know for a fact that a lot of us ain't getting enough sleep, rest, enjoyment time and stuff like that. So hopefully this helps you. I'm actually working on this myself and introduce a few things. After the 4 days off of the gym, I actually have, although yeah, when you go back a little bit, oh my god, I've got to do this, but when you get back into it, you'll actually find you're a little bit sharper and you'll actually be able to focus and get that mind muscle connection. Thanks for watching, guys. Hate it, love it, whatever it is, leave a comment. If there's anybody who's watching this who can add a little bit more, I'd really appreciate that. If you can state and give a little bit more information to help those people, that'd be fantastic. Alright, thank you so very much for listening. As I said, I hope this helps. All I'm doing is just bringing in a viewpoint. I'm bringing in some things to think about, and at the end of the day, to educate myself, to help educate other people, perhaps give a few people a few ideas on how they may be able to improve their life, you know. And if it helps improve people's lives a little, then hey, what the heck.